US President Barack Obama seemed like a different man in his second debate against Mitt Romney. Instead of the placid approach he took in the first debate, this time he came out swinging against his Republican opponent. So how did he and Romney do in their second face-to-face debate? Joining me now is journalist and commentator Tracy Barnett in Auckland, and from Dunedin, Professor of International Relations from Otago University, Robert Patman. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning. If I can start with you, Tracy,
Sure.
who do you think won?
Obama, without a doubt. But Obama won by a nose instead of a full lead. I think what's really interesting is that, you have to love American politics. Just when you think that you've jumped into, an episode of The Simpsons, as the Republican nomination really felt like, we got back on the documentary channel in the second debate. And I think what's probably a more interesting and bigger question is, did Obama's win really mean anything? Because the truth is, as of last night anyway, the numbers in the swing states between undecided voters hadn't budged much. It will be interesting to see what comes out this morning.
Okay, Professor Patman, what do you make of it? Who do you think won last night's debate?
Well, I'd agree with Tracy. I think Mr. Obama did what he had to do. He had a bad first debate with Mr. Romney. And there was a lot of pressure, not least from his supporters, for him to show a bit more fire and passion and sharpen his game up. And I think he did that. And I think he shaded what was a fast and furious debate. Actually, it was democratic politics at its best in many ways, because I thought both candidates did very well. There were some fast and furious exchanges, as I said before. And I think on balance, Mr. Obama, perhaps because expectations were lowered by his performance in his first debate, did very well overall.
Okay, Tracy, let's just focus on Mitt Romney for a moment, because he's kind of come from nowhere, really, and has come soaring up in the polls as well. What's he done right to achieve that?
It's hard to believe that just 2 weeks ago this was a different horse race. Nate Silver, a very respected kind of pollster from the New York Times, put Obama likely to win at 97%. 97%. After that first vote debate, those numbers have been free-falling and went down to about 64, 65% before last night's debate. Romney has done two really smart, savvy things that were very important. One is that going in, and go backwards for a second to that time before this first debate, he was still, part of it was self-inflicted, to be fair. He had become the caricature. He had become Mr. Smithers and Thurston Howell III and everything in between. And Romney was able to burst that bubble of caricature and become a viable, different path. And he was very successful at that, especially against Obama's anemic performance in that first debate anyway. But the second thing, and probably most importantly, and watch out for this in the weeks to come, is that Romney has shamelessly, according to the Democrats, but very decidedly gone from tacking right where he needed to be in the primaries to running toward the middle, absolutely running toward the middle, even if it means abandoning and changing positions this late in the game. And it's working because those in the middle are listening.
What do you make of it, Professor Patman? Do you think that Obama really is being heavily challenged here? Is this still any man's race, this election?
I think it's a tightening race. I think it's either Romney or Obama can win it. I think a very significant turning point was reached in the middle part of the debate, though. Mr. Romney has been very impressive in delivering a critique of Mr. Obama's handling the economy. But what really happened halfway through the debate is, for the first time, really, Mr. Obama challenged Mr. Romney to spell out precisely how he would revamp the economy. Now, a great thrust of Mr. Romney's position is that he's going to create 12 million new jobs, he's going to have tax cuts, and he's going to put $2 trillion into the military over 10 years. And Mr. Obama said it's no good, basically, just saying that you've run businesses, etc. How are you going to do this? And at the moment, there's a definite lack of specifics. And I think Mr. Romney, who I think Tracy's absolutely right, he's tacked to the centre. He's actually moved away from his own positions. He's now going to have to justify that shift. And I think that's going to be a major thing to look for in the third debate.
What do you think's likely to happen in the third debate? Because we saw this sort of feisty Obama, which confrontational and challenging of Romney. We haven't really seen that. Yeah, and we haven't really seen that in his demeanour, I don't think, before. Is there a chance that could potentially backfire against him? Or will Americans like that side of it?
They did. I think that's without a doubt, actually. His first performance was so, one commentator called it a herbivore. I think it was so tired, and that was reflective of how the American people are feeling after 4 years of economic struggle. And that's not what they wanted to see. So he did bring it. And, you know, it's interesting that the Huffington Post headline the morning before the debate was, "Will he blow it?" So he couldn't have actually probably missed that narrative that he came from behind, and he did bring it that night. The third debate will be on foreign policy, not not Romney's strong point.
This will be really the telling one, won't it, Professor Patman? The third debate on foreign policy, what do you make of this? This is where Mitt Romney really has to step up.
I think so, and I think, you know, we heard comments earlier about the exchange between Obama and Romney over foreign policy, in which Mr. Romney probably overreached himself when he was trying to extract some political advantage over the slowness of the administration to identify that terrorists were responsible for the attack which killed 4 American diplomats. In the process of trying to score that point, he actually got some of his facts wrong and was corrected by the moderator, which didn't look good. I also think he's made a lot of accusations about Mr. Obama being weak, which will be severely challenged by Mr. Obama. At the moment, although Mr. Romney tried to distance himself from the previous Republican incumbent, Mr. Bush to Bush, his foreign policy at least looks quite like that of Mr. Bush's. He's called for stronger American leadership, but that in turn means more unilateralism. And I think that Mr. Obama, he'll be very careful to nuance it, of course, but I think he'll be just as assertive on the foreign policy front as he was last night on the economic front.
All right, we have to leave it there. Professor Robert Patman for us live in Dunedin, and Tracy Barnett, thank you for your time this morning.